Good afternoon and welcome to today's Hub and a Hybrid World webinar. We are a couple of minutes away from starting, so grab a coffee, get comfy, and we'll see you in a couple of moments. Hello and welcome to this week's Hub and a Hybrid World webinar, where we're focusing on public sector. Thanks to those few people who have just joined us. We're going to wait just for another minute or two for the few more to join, and then we'll begin. That's 30 seconds, people, just a few more people still joining. So we'll just give it another half a minute or so and then we'll begin. Welcome to today's Hub and a Hybrid World webinar. We're talking today, focusing on public sector. So thanks very much everybody for joining us. My name is Jane Hammersley from Collab Tech Group, and we're working with Microsoft to bring these series of events really to focus on where Hub is making such a difference in specific verticals. So thanks for joining us once again. Today I'm going to be joined by Adam Giles from Microsoft UK, who is going to share with us some insights from what's happening in the UK, and also some insights into the work that they're doing in public sector. So we're looking forward to hearing from Adam in just a few moments. First, we're going to start by showing you just a quick sizzle reel, as we call it, of what's some real thought starters for the public sector organisations. What we'd really like you to do is share this video with your customers so that they can see what the benefits of using Surface Hub are as well, and we can help them with that. So without further ado, let me play this video, and then we will be welcoming Adam to the stage.
Public organisations keep us all moving, but social restrictions mean that technology is replacing face-to-face interactions to facilitate communication, which is why many healthcare practitioners and hospitals are deploying Microsoft Surface Hub 2S. The majority of healthcare professionals believe face-to-face interaction is the most important element for patient engagement, delivering better shared decision-making. The 4K resolution on the inbuilt camera and the display on the Surface Hub 2S ensures a better exchange of information, as both parties are able to interpret body language and facial expressions alongside natural audio exchange. Remote teams can collaborate on Surface Hub 2S using data from a source device and back to the document, using the touchback and inkback facility, ensuring everyone is working from the most up-to-date files. Once the session has ended, meeting notes and content can be shared instantly, whilst all data is wiped from the Surface Hub 2S and ready for the next meeting. Ensuring data security is a top priority. Surface Hub 2S provides a walk-up and use experience, running Windows 10 Team operating system whilst being protected against continually evolving security threats. All these challenges are equally relevant, whether a doctor's office, courthouse or government organisation, and has turned remote collaboration from a nice-to-have add-on into a core component of service delivery in a way that couldn't have been envisaged even at the start of 2020. Real world, real interaction. Surface Hub 2S bridges the digital and physical divide in today's hybrid workplaces, further enhanced by the global availability of Microsoft Surface Hub 2S 85-inch in 2021.
Adam, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you very much, team. Welcome to number 4, the final webinar in our series of Hub in a Hybrid World, looking at public sector for UK, Central Europe and Western Europe. Thank you very much. As always, please get in touch with your distribution partners for your local area for more information, and we'll send out post this some information from us. Public sector, next to the education space, is certainly our most mature market when it comes to working with Hub in this new transitional phase where we build towards being in a hybrid world. And we've had some great success with organisations like the NHS. I think there's a study, or we call them stories, from Northumbria, looking at how it saved a lot of time, energy, efficiency, and even cost to their organisation. Recently, we've been doing some work with the Met Police, and the chief of the Met Police is actually using a hub and says there was a quote of having kind of use it every day and loving it. So we're seeing that, and we're looking to work with these industries more and more as they've had to really pivot. And one of the things I was saying to Jane and the team before we jumped on the call with these industries, that they literally can't stop. I'm sure a lot of you speaking to customers have found that they've kind of put their hub interest on hold while they wait for, certainly in the UK here, we're in lockdown, certainly when we were waiting for things to open up. There's a bit of a halt, whereas the police and the fire services and all these public sectors still need the communication and actually looking for us to lead with a new hybrid way of working. With that in mind, we've got a couple of slides just to show you. So first slide is just showing the effectiveness of having these technologies available. So we've seen using Teams recently that 48% of Teams chat has grown in communication, and 55 has increased in the number of meeting calls per week. So seeing some real growth in those areas. I think we've all probably felt the pinch of being on technology calls more and more, and Teams is in the great enablement for that, but you do feel like you live on Teams, at least I certainly do. Therefore, there's a lot less boundaries. So share of Teams users sending kind of after hours chats. We probably, as a society, need to work on that a little bit, getting away from technology once we're able to get into the hybrid workplace. But it does mean that productivity is going up and more Teams chats per person after hours as well. 69% has seen growth there. And if we go into the next slide, that's possible. There we go. So the benefit of that, though, and we've seen this time and time again through a lot of the stories we've done, is that and this is really the story that Microsoft is trying to tell, is that employees feel more included when everyone joins the meeting remotely. And I'm sure, again, a number of people on this call who use Teams and use our products have found they feel more included. And we've seen this in certainly public sector and even Edu, that they feel in the space and that they don't need to travel. And even when we weren't in lockdown and people were able to travel to and from work, there was less need to. Because of the technology. So as you can see from the slide, that there's a lot more people reporting that in the percentage, yes, 52% say that they feel like they're more included and more productive, and really that's bringing the dream. You know, if you've had a whiteboard experience and you've used whiteboard on a Surface Pro device or a Surface Book device, and with someone using a hub, sorry, I look there because I've got one next to me, you really feel that seamless connectivity. And that's what it's really about, and bringing that to life. So we've got a number of ways that we can do that. We have demos, live demos that are available as well. So and we'll also be sending out support material like the video, and there is a great ebook as well. So hopefully you'll be getting all of those that stuff, please do again let us know if you need any further, and I will hand back to Jane, who will take you through why public sector is not only so important, but the role that Collabtech can help play in bringing that sector to life.
Wonderful, thanks Adam. And yeah, Adam and I are lucky enough to have a hub at home. Actually, mine is a hostage hub. I stole it from our offices when I knew we were going into lockdown, because I thought there's no point it sitting in an office when it could be much more use in my location. So yeah, I think I just want to pick up a couple of points that Adam talked about there, which was that motion around how much we're using Teams now. And I probably a bit like you, I kind of feel like we are living in the world's biggest remote usage experiment, where it used to be myself really that was probably one of the only remote participants, and the CEOs and the C-level executives were having a wonderful meeting experience because they were in the boardroom, and they were able to basically understand everything that was being said and see everybody's faces because they were there. But as a remote user, that was not the experience that certainly I was having. So in this large experiment that's happening right now, the C-level executives are living that remote experience. So kind of in a way, I think it's escalated video conferencing beyond all of our wildest dreams, and certainly put it back into a conversation and a decision that has to be made now. We have to talk more widely about how we use collaboration tools and techniques, and really everywhere. So let me just move the presentation on. Just want to do some positioning, really, of public sector. What is public sector? Well, you know, that's a great question, because public sector, as you probably know, encompasses all sorts of different companies, business and enterprises. The kind of definition you've got there, it's where a business's government is the main owner or the majority shareholder in that business, and they're controlled and managed and operated and financed by the government as well. They mostly operate in certain industries such as utilities, water, education, electricity, oil, gas, mining, healthcare, etc. I'm going to stop because I can't remember if I've told people to put questions in. So sorry if I haven't. As in all the other webinars, we don't want to make this a webinar. We want to make it an interactive conversation. You can't converse with us live, but please put your questions in the chat. We will get to them. As I was saying, so public sector is what we call a body of these government organised companies, organisations. There's a great stat there, which is 79% of innovations will happen when they collaborate with another organisation, meaning that really only 11% of innovations happen just in that silo environment. So think about that. There's more need for collaboration in the public sector than probably any other vertical specific area. And this is a great map. Obviously, we're not just talking to the UK here. Adam is from the UK, but we've got a lot of countries represented for Western Europe and Eastern Europe too. But you can see some amazing examples of what percentage of the workforce in these countries are actually employed in the public sector. And if you look at some of the high ones, I mean, look at the Nordics countries, incredible. Norway is nearly 30% of employees engaged, but look at the number over 19%. Think about that, of the amount of people that need to collaborate. Back to that 79% stat. If you think about how many of those people need to collaborate on a daily basis, they need to make decisions, they need to create policies, but they are also governed and they are accountable to these public bodies. So we've got wide groups of people, and those people could be based in communities, they could be voluntary organisations, they could be in other partner organisations. The likelihood is they're going to be geographically spread. because of the social mobility as it is today. Previously, before technology and that social mobility, those orgs would have been, it's almost like the manufacturing sector and a supply chain, but those organisations would be based around the central organisation. But now, whether it's a passive or a formal or an informal meeting, it just has to happen. So this does create challenges for all of these public sector organisations, but it also gives us an opportunity. Now, when I was researching public sector and specifically government, because it's so tough to get stats on the whole of the public sector, and government is such a big opportunity. I found this, and it came up in quite a few documents, and this one specifically by Accenture talked about GovTech being a new wave of technology. And it's really changing the way that our governing bodies, our governments, local governments and national governments, as well as the sort of supporting agencies, are using technology to not just communicate, collaborate, but to deliver services, to collect taxes. And they are changing the way they communicate. And this is a huge rise of this GovTech technologies, where you've got technologies designed specifically for these government purposes. And again, I like the stats, 51% positive gains for using these government tech. And imagine a world where we have apps, maybe on our phone, that can drive the use of paying bills or accessing services through our local government, maybe just like an Uber or a Spotify app, really. It's kind of what we've come to expect as well as a consumer. In fact, 75% of collaboration is the norm. And as I said earlier, this pandemic has pushed out video conferencing at a level that I thought I'd never see. I've certainly been working in the video conferencing arena for over 15 years. And as much as we talked about it's a greener way to work, a much more efficient and productive way to work, the pandemic has forced the change in work significantly. But I think it's forced a really effective use of the technology, and people have really enjoyed using it. Although, as Adam talked about, there are some stats of fatigue around that as well. So I just now want to just highlight some things. You probably know these already, but I found some top tips for dealing with government organisations, which I thought was quite interesting. Obvious, some of them, but quite interesting. Start with problem, not the technology. I think all of us probably on this call might call ourselves technologists. We get excited and passionate about technology, and why shouldn't we, when we've got things like Service Hub to talk about? But you know, start with the problem that Service Hub is going to solve, and it will offer that real solution to these public sector challenges. Secondly, and then this is a good piece of advice, I think, is find those stakeholders within the organisation that are going to support the strategy that you're putting forward. So these, what they're called here, change agents. So they share the company's vision, but they also see your vision for success. And having those internal champions is going to make your lives, hopefully, a lot easier here. Security, we've talked about it several times. We talked about it in the financial services webinar. And if you did miss any of these webinars, they will be available on demand, and at the end of the session we'll be sending you links to all of them. But security is super important, of course it is, for governments, and the fear of cyber attacks and data privacy breaches are hugely concerning for any government organisation. So any GovTech product needs to make sure those security concerns are highlighted. And then finally is, well, build only what is needed. Service Hub is such an amazing piece of technology and solution when it sits on Teams that it can do so many different things. It really is worth finding that one use case that is super important to that organisation and building on that. And yes, share with them all the art of the possible, but really hone in on that single use case. Again, that's an Accenture report which I found really useful. I want to share with you a couple of case studies in the public sector. These are on the Microsoft website, so you all got access to them. This is a local government of, oh, here we go. It's in France, Issy-les-Moulineaux. It's a medium-sized city, but what they did is they had lots of agents working at the edge, so in the community, and they were on the move. And they needed a better way to streamline the communication internally into their government departments. So they installed Surface Hub 2 into the meeting spaces, and they were able then to use it for a lot of brainstorming conversations, but also to help create policies and make decisions quicker. So go and have a look at that one. And the second one I want to highlight, and I looked at this in depth, which is quite a recent case study, and it's from the Department of Tourism in Abu Dhabi. And their business and their country is slowly sort of opening up post-COVID, or actually not post, during COVID, but it's coming alive again. And they have now deployed Surface Hub 2S along with other Surface devices, and they're allowing their teams to work remotely and also work in the field as well when needed, and work in the office. But what they found is it enabled their staff to get much more creative, and they're using the whiteboard, the power of Microsoft Whiteboard, and they put in there, used it in a natural way of working, and it was able to get their creative juices flowing, as it says here. So that one last quote I find particularly inspiring, actually, when it, we removed the compromise from collaboration. And I think that is super important. Collaboration isn't a compromise. Collaboration is actually a way of working that enhances the way people also feel about how they work, and how well people feel supported in the way they work. There are lots of studies on how to attract and retain talent, and how the work environment and the technology that people use really goes a long way to support, how people feel really good about the place that they work in. So some of you may have seen that it's snowy here in the UK, and right now we've got full sun, obviously, as you can see as it's streaming through my windows. So that's the positioning for public sector. Hope that's giving you a good background. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague Yassine, who is going to talk some actual live scenarios that we've seen as CollabTech. We are fortunate enough to be able to support the industry. We don't sell hardware, and we don't sell direct to end customers, so we go in and support channel to deploy tens of thousands of hubs in our lifetime. So yeah, we've been pretty lucky to do that. So I'll hand over to Yassine, who's going to talk us through some of those scenarios. And I think we've got, if I remember right, 3 scenarios that we can explain. Okay, Yassine, over to you.
Hello and welcome to Hub in a Hybrid World. My name is Yassine Hayal. I'm a collaboration specialist at CollabTech, and we help people work better together. And welcome to this webinar, which will take a particular focus at public sector. The public sector is one of the largest and most important sectors that keep our society running. It consists of healthcare, transport, government, to name a few, and they are essentially staples within our society. COVID-19 has also impacted them, just as it has the rest of the world. And we've looked at some of the challenges that they have faced and how they've overcome those challenges. Ourselves at CollabTech operate through the channel. This means that we've had the unique opportunity of being able to rub shoulders and see, hear, and experience success stories of how Surface Hub is being used. What we have done is collated those into a short webinar to help you understand how people in public sector are utilizing Hub to overcome the challenges that COVID-19 has posed. And in turn, this will allow you to then speak to your customers in public sector of how to do that. We are currently experiencing the world's largest work experiment. Many of us are relearning how to work. And this is exactly where Surface Hub comes into it. The Surface Hub acts as a central all-in-one platform for your collaboration needs. This means that you have everything available that you need for your regular workday at your fingertips. Having all of your files in OneDrive available in one place, as well as the ability to allow you to continue in your digital stride easily and seamlessly. There are three staples of the Surface Hub that I'd like to go into to begin with. The Surface Hub is about dissolving boundaries, it's about creating a digital workflow, and it's about mobility. It's about dissolving boundaries between the physical and the virtual world, allowing analog and digital content to interact together seamlessly and easily, allowing individuals to actually bring in digital content to the whiteboard, such as Word documents and PowerPoint files, and annotating on those using the Surface Hub's pen. It's about the digital workflow the Surface Hub enables, allowing individuals to continuously work, having all of the tools they need at their disposal. This also includes allowing cross-platform compatibility, allowing you to use your Windows 10 device in conjunction with the Surface Hub easily and seamlessly using the Miracast ability, for example. It also includes things like the ability for you to access your OneDrive using the single sign-on, the ability for you to use the interactive whiteboard, and many, many more features that we're going to go into in detail when we touch on the examples. And the last thing the Surface Hub is about that I would like you to remember is the mobility. We've talked a little bit about the virtual mobility it provides, but there's also physical mobility. The Surface Hub has a steel case stand and an APC battery as optional extras. They provide you the ability to actually move the Surface Hub around without losing power or connectivity, and we've seen many ways in which this has been used in the field. Let's take a look at some real-world examples of how Surface Hub is being used in public sector. First example we have is of large town hall meetings. Now the picture on the bottom is one that would have been completely typical not even a year and a half ago. However, in today's world, this is something that's becoming increasingly rare. People are no longer meeting in large capacities anymore. In some places, this is extremely important. You need to have people meeting either face-to-face or virtually in order for them to discuss exactly what's going on in their town or city. One innovative customer of ours used the Surface Hub to conduct those town hall meetings and did so in a way that minimized the damage of not being able to meet physically. You see, what they did was they actually utilized the 84-inch Surface Hub, which can be seen on the left here compared to the 50-inch. The one in the picture is the Surface Hub 2S, which is actually out now. There was an 85-inch version, but the predecessor of the Surface Hub 2, the Surface Hub 1, had an 84-inch, which this local council actually used. The widescreen display of the 84-inch Surface Hub means that there is an ability for everybody in the room to see what's going on the screen. This gives the individuals that we're speaking about the ability to socially distance whilst also being present in the meeting. The crisp audio-visual experience provided by the Surface Hub means that individuals, even at the far back end of the room, are able to see what's going on the 84-inch display. The HD camera means that the participants in the town hall are still able to be seen very, very clearly, and the 90-degree field of vision on the Surface Hub 2S camera means that individuals in the corners of the room are even able to be seen as well. It has an excellent microphone array on the back of the Surface Hub that allows individuals that are even quite far from the Surface Hub to be picked up equally well as those close to the hub. Now, the fact that the Surface Hub was able to act as a central meeting point experience for the individuals in the town hall meant that the individuals who can't attend the meeting or who'd have to join from home are able to do so using the Surface Hub and still able to be seen by the other participants. The ability for you to use the whiteboard on the Surface Hub as well as the screen sharing means that the presenter is actually able to annotate and explain his ideas to both the individuals at home and those physically present. The interactiveness of the whiteboard also means that participants at home are also able to annotate directly onto the same whiteboard, collaborating in real time. This means that they are able to get involved and contribute and share ideas easily and seamlessly using the Surface Hub. A second example is that of the healthcare industry. As many of us know, the healthcare industry is being overloaded at the moment. However, that's also opened the door for some innovation. Many individuals that we work with in the healthcare industry are using the Surface Hub in creative and interesting ways to overcome challenges and difficulties. One way in which we've seen that is multidisciplinary meetings across departments and across different healthcare providers, if you will, who have to collate and share information for the benefit of everyone. In this case, what they did was utilize the Microsoft Surface Hub to initiate a Teams call with all of the individuals present. Once they did that, the interactive whiteboard, of course, allows them to import content onto the whiteboard and directly speak and annotate about this content. This was used in conjunction with scans and graphs and pictures, x-rays, for example, on a personal device. Doctors who were doing that would use Miracast to project their device onto the Surface Hub, and then they would import the images on their Miracast device onto the Surface Hub whiteboard by simply taking a screen clipping. This then allowed them to paste the image they needed directly onto the whiteboard like so, and bring it as part of the digital conversation, allowing them to annotate and diagnose what's going on with the patient, in this case an x-ray image of an eye. They're able to talk about the different problems that they may have come across and issues where they've seen and resolutions that they may have found beneficial. The adaptability of the Surface Hub and the way it allows individuals to continue in their digital workflow means that doctors could, as soon as they have a resolution to their answer, easily bring in patients to their Microsoft Teams call as well. This allows them to easily and quickly bring in patients as part of the conversation and convey the information that they need to do so. In addition to this, the virtual mobility of the Surface Hub allows them to email out any content that they're using at the click of a button, importing and exporting whiteboards as PNG images and sending them via email to all participants on the Microsoft Teams call. So what we've done here is save time and money by allowing all of the participants and individuals that need to be on a call the ability to do so from the comfort of their homes. This has made physical proximity much less of an issue, and virtual distance has essentially been closed to peers and individuals as well as patients all around the healthcare sector. The compatibility with Microsoft Teams means that individuals on their own devices, and provided they have the necessary administrative rights, are also able to record meetings as well. This means that people who may not be able to attend, or people maybe even in different time zones, are also able to view the content easily and seamlessly. Now, patient confidentiality is of course an important thing for many people in healthcare. The security aspect of the Surface Hub means that as soon as you end the session, you can simply walk away from the Surface Hub and not have to worry about where your data is going, as the Surface Hub will be completely wiped, ready for the next person to use. Our final example is that of Windows 10 Professional on Surface Hub being used by a courtroom judge as a central control center. With Windows 10 Professional, the functionality of a personal device is activated by the Surface Hub, allowing users to sign into their own personal user accounts. The fingerprint reader adds an added layer of security and speed to the authentication process. The beautiful 4K display of the hub, as well as the crystal clear audio, allowed this judge to have a high quality meeting experience. The hub itself became a central point of communication and collaboration using Windows 10 Professional. It was able to annotate documentation, make his own personal notes, and create breakout room sessions in Microsoft Teams easily and simply. The Surface Hub has essentially provided a complete meeting room in a box experience, allowing this judge to reduce social distancing related disruptions as much as possible. So to summarize, the Surface Hub is about dissolving boundaries between the physical and the virtual world. It's about allowing public sector workers to easily interact with digital content in an analog way. It's about continuing in your digital stride, allowing you to utilize things like Miracast and Microsoft Teams so that you can focus on doing your job in these difficult times. And it's about the mobility the Surface Hub provides you. The fact that you can wheel it around on a steel case stand as well as the APC battery, meaning you won't even lose power or connectivity. All of these things are invaluable, and public sector workers, who are essentially the backbone and the spine of our society, could most certainly make use of those to streamline their operations and hopefully take some pressure off. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Yasin Hayo. I'm a collaboration specialist at Collabtech, and we help people work better together.
Thank you, Yasin. I just checked I was off mute, and I was. Having all of my colleagues checking. I have a tendency to chat a lot when I'm on mute. So thank you for sharing those stories with us. In fact, that last story that Yassine shared about the courtroom, that was from our colleagues in ClubTech Australia, where that is a real life scenario that is happening now, and helping that judicial system to stay ahead of the cases. Irrespective of COVID. So as Yassine said, Surface Hub dissolves boundaries, physical boundaries are dissolved. It's agile in terms of the things that it can do, but it's also physically very agile with the steel case stand and the battery from APC. And it helps people to stay into their digital workflow. 3 hugely significant areas of where people can improve their whole workflow. Those 3 things are captured quite nicely in the ebook that Adam mentioned at the top of the webinar, and we will send a copy of that out to you as well. Okay, so last call for questions. I have to say you've been super kind to us today. So I've got my colleagues Yassine and Adam on standby now. Let me direct this first question, I think, to Yassine. Let's go for a technical question first. Yassine, the question is, this person's customer has Surface Hub 1. I don't know if it's an 84 or 55, that's irrelevant really. Can they upgrade it to a Windows 10 version?
Thanks for that, Jane. That's a very good question. As of right now, Windows 10 Professional isn't supported by Microsoft on the Hub 1. However, that might change in the future, so I'd advise them to keep an eye on the latest Microsoft literature for more information on that. I can say that ourselves at ClubTech, we have seen instances of Windows 10 Professional being installed on Surface Hubs, so it may be possible. It's not currently supported.
Okay. Thank you, Yassine. So you had the official Microsoft version and the unofficial. We have seen it, but we'll go with the official Microsoft version. Is that version isn't officially out yet. So the next question, Adam, I'm going to direct this one at you, and it revolves around stands. We've had a couple of questions on stands, and it's around the 85-inch stand. Got somebody having trouble with availability. Can you help them with that?
Well, I can't because I don't have them to give, but I can tell you that they will be coming very soon. There's been a slight delay because there was a slight change to the design, just to make it more useful and efficient. They should be with us within the next few weeks. So again, check back with distributed steel case stands will be available. There's also wall mounts as well. So wall mounts, obviously, with a large device is such a good way, and I would probably say that for most 85 inches is the way to go, dependent on your needs. But yeah, steel case stand, the rolling stands will be available shortly.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adam. That makes sense. And the final one is one that I can take unless anybody's got one to sneak in, and that is the webinars. This person missed a couple of them and wants access to them. We will be putting all of the webinars up online and available for you, along with the videos. So we've got 5 vertically focused videos, really just to talk about specific stories around how Hub can be used in those verticals. And we've got 4 persona videos as well, and that talks to the IT professional who might be deploying Hub, or the ad hoc user, or the super user. We'll be putting all those out and sharing those with you. Please give this message far and wide to your clients. And if us at ClubTech or Microsoft UK or Microsoft Western Europe or Microsoft Central Europe can help in any way position Hub to your clients, then please do get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you. We hoped you enjoyed this series of events. We have had some requests to do some end user specific versions. So if that's you and you'd like some support with the vertical specific webinars, please speak to your Microsoft account manager and we'll be able to help you with that. So with that, I will end today's webinar. Thank you so much for attending. It was lovely to have your company, and hopefully we meet really soon. Thank you.